Every time I look at a calendar these days, I just am like, how? We're in November. Okay. Doesn't make sense, but I'll believe you. Harlow and I are very excited to be back for November's Plan With Me. We all know that I've really been loving pasting things into my journal this month, and I feel like I really embrace that with this month's spreads. So, you're in for a treat. I post new Plan With Me videos every single month, and I've got some exciting ones planned for the rest of 2020. So you're gonna wanna make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell. I'm always in the comment section of a video within the first hour that a video is up, so it pays to be early. If you didn't know, I also have a weekly newsletter that I send out every Monday to my newsletter fam. I share exclusive tips, advice, Q&As, books I'm currently loving, quotes that inspire me, lots of fun stuff. So if you want to start receiving that, there's going to be a link in the description box below. Harlow's ready though now to get her pages filled. So let's begin. Now, you might think that I'm once again pasting in craft paper into my bullet journal, but I actually am pasting in a special cardstock paper that I picked up from Michaels that, if you look up really close, it has a grain pattern that kind of looks like a tree trunk. It's really pretty, and I thought it was super appropriate for November, so you'll see me pasting in a few fun papers like this one and others that I got from Michaels throughout the video, and all links to them can be found in the description box below. As you can see, I used a micron in the size 08 to draw out a mini calendar. I've really been loving the mini calendar approach lately, and below the calendar I added a section for writing down any of those key dates. My one regret here is that I went a bit too large with the key dates titling, but otherwise I like that this was a pretty minimal look, and the Tombow dual brush marker in the size 026 added some nice color. On the right page, I'm putting together a gratitude log. I love creating gratitude focused spreads. I've been honestly creating them on and off in my journal for years now, and it's genuinely been a practice that has been so helpful at changing my perspective during situations where it's just really easy to fixate on the negative. Feeling sad, anxious, stressed are definitely normal parts of life, and it'd be unrealistic to expect to avoid all of those emotions. They make us human, but expressing gratitude has been a powerful tool for getting me out of those funks and just generally more appreciative for what I do have. I then added this Brené Brown quote that says, "I don't have to chase extraordinary moments to find happiness. It's right in front of me if I'm paying attention and practicing gratitude." The finishing touch was pasting in a piece of greenery from a bouquet of flowers I recently bought. I really like how it looks right now, and I think it'll look really pretty once it dries out, but I don't think I've ever pasted in real greenery or flowers into my journal, so a bit of a gamble, but we'll report on how that develops. When I saw this pink marble paper, I just knew I had to have it and incorporate it into a self-care focused spread, because marble just makes me think of spas and beautiful bathrooms and pampering sessions. So on the top left page, I drew out some habit trackers with a ruler and my micron pen. I just opted for the classic grid style tracker. November has 30 days in the month, so it makes for a very satisfying 3 rows of 10. Nothing pains my soul more than when I have to add an extra square for those 31-day months. So yay, November. I also added a drop shadow to each tracker to help it stand out a bit more against the pink marble paper. And I filled in the shadowing with solid black because I feel like going with my go-to lines pattern would have just been a little bit too busy with this paper. I've got a habit tracker for hydration, one for meditation, and the other one will be tracking reading sessions. On the second half of the left page, I created a designated spot for keeping track of the books that I read, the author, and my rating for that book. I honestly have been in a bit of a reading slump lately, so I'm hoping I'm able to get back into the swing of things in November. Whenever I go too long without consistently reading, I just feel a little bit lost. So if you got book recommendations for me, please share the love below. On the right page, I pasted in a white piece of cardstock that I prepared with a quote that says, "Self-care is giving the world the best of you instead of what's left of you." And I also pasted in a craft paper moon and set of stars that I showed myself cutting out using my new Silhouette Cameo machine in a recent video. The moon to me feels very calming and is a symbol for rest, so it felt like a fitting addition to this layout. After I finished up my little leaf doodle to the right, I created a spot for some self-care to-dos like creating a pump-up playlist, meal prepping one meal of the week, so like breakfast or just lunch or just dinner, putting your phone on do not disturb mode, having a morning stretch, reading poetry, etc., etc. This ended up being my favorite spread this month. I just think it looks stunning, and this pink marble paper is just mwah, chef's kiss. I had asked you guys on my Instagram stories what spread requests you had for November, and believe it or not, there was a high amount of Christmas spread requests. So here we go. The first holiday spreads for 2020. I genuinely cannot even believe that this is happening right now. I'm not sure whether or not I'll do an entire holiday spread bullet journal video in addition to my December plan with me this year, but if that's something you want to see, then let me know. The first spread is a gift buying tracker because I know a lot of people are planning on getting their Christmas shopping done a bit earlier this year because of expected shipping delays. So I figured this would be a good first spread for the holiday season. As you can already tell, I pasted in some gift boxes using the same brown cardstock I've been using throughout this video and a beautiful gold embellished paper. And I like that I use these colors because even though this is a holiday spread, it still clicks nicely together with November's theme. And then I used a black pen to doodle out some bows for each gift box and a white pen, a white Jelly Roll pen to create the page's title. The spread itself is a fairly simple table that keeps track of who I'm buying for, what gift idea I have for them, whether I ended up making a purchase online or in person, and an expected delivery date for online orders, as well as the total amount spent. To wrap this one up, I don't know if you saw what I just did there. To wrap this one up, I added a little quote on the bottom right page and some black accent doodles, and that was about it. The second holiday spread I created in this plan with me is a holiday budget and spending tracker, which I felt like was a good pair with the gift tracker, the gift buying tracker, because these are two spreads you're probably going to need first for this holiday season. I feel like even though this year's Christmas and the holidays might look a little different than usual, it is usually a time of year where we can get carried away with a little bit too much spending, not just on gifts, but also things like food and clothing and decor. So I think having a plan for attack is really important. The holidays at the end of the day are all about spending time with people you love, so you don't want to add the stress of money to it. I created a section to write down a total budgeted amount for the holiday season, and then a section to break down that number into different categories like food, gifts, decor, clothing, and other. Then I created a basic table with 4 columns where you can write down the item or items you purchased, the location of where you bought that item, what category of spending it falls under, and the price. A bonus tip for this spread would be to color code each category so that at a glance, when you're looking at it throughout the month or throughout the next couple months, you can get a read on which category you're spending the most in, which category you're spending the least in. That just might help you make more informed spending choices. This month's weekly spread is made up of a lot of different sized cutout rectangles from the white and brown cardstock and the marble paper. So it is a spread that was a great opportunity in my head to weave in all of the different textures that I used throughout this month's plan with me. And it was a really quick one to put together because I didn't have to measure out precise rectangles with my pen and ruler. I just kind of pasted them wherever they fit. And the glue tape that you've seen me use throughout this video, I've talked about it a lot because it's just become my new favorite thing, but it makes pasting in things to your journal so fast. I will have it linked below. You can even get refills for it, so you don't have to be buying the full cartridge every time. I used my Micron in 08 once again to add titles to each day's rectangle, and I pre-made the list, so all I have to do when this week comes around is fill in my to-dos. I realized at this point that I wanted to fill in those big gaps in the spread, and I opted to do that with some poems from The Sun and Her Flowers. The first one says, "The universe took its time on you, crafted you to offer the world something different from everyone else. And when you doubt how you were created, you doubt an energy greater than us," which I think is just beautiful. And there was this other one that goes, "Look down at your body and whisper, there is no home like you. Thank you." And I just think those are really nice feeling quotes and a great vibes to bring to this weekly spread. And with just a few more black doodle accents, I basically was finished with this beauty. This was another one of my favorites. I just think it looks imperfectly perfect. self-care spread with the pink marble paper is definitely my favorite this month, but I want to hear your favorite in the comment section down below. I'd also really appreciate knowing what holiday videos you want to see in November and December. I've got some ideas, but it always is really helpful to get your input. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell, and I will see you all very soon with a new video. Until then, bye guys! And before you know it, we'll be here for December's Plan With Me. It do be like that. 2020 do be like that.
While we try to fight it, every time that we touch, the room caught on fire. We could blame it on the wine, but we know that we will both be lying. I wish I did.